Hello everyone, this is Sharpedo43 once again, bringing you all another Wi-Fi battle. And my opponent for this battle is going to be Gohan once again, and we're going to be battling in the OU tier once again. And I'm going to be using pretty much the same team that I used against Tesla Mouse and Tansy65 in the last few battles that we had. Just to see how well this team, because so far this team has been doing pretty good actually. Like I've been beating a number of people with this team, so I was like, okay, this team should be doing me wonders then. And I'm gonna face Gohan, who is one of those people who actually team builds a lot and makes pretty good teams. So I was like, okay, I think I'm gonna face this guy just to see how well I do. And he does have a lot of threats in this team. He has stuff like the Magirna. He has the potential Charizard X or Y, which I have to guess what it can be. He has Mimikyu with Disguise. He has Dugtrio, which at the time wasn't banned, and it has Arena Trap. And he has Tapu Fini, and he has the annoying garbage bag that is Chansey. So, I mean, we're gonna see what goes down in this battle, which is kind of crazy. But yeah, I think here I'm gonna lead off with Nihilego. After he leads off with Magirna, I believe, which was not a lead I was expecting. Honestly, I was not expecting a Magirna lead. Honestly, I was more expecting the Charizard or maybe Chansey or something. But even then, I don't know why I would lead with Nihilego, honestly. But either way, I do switch out, go into my Micro Oven, which is my only switch into this Magirna in all honesty. Because here I'm going to eat a Flash Cannon, which is perfect. Now here I'm going to go for a Volt Switch, expecting him to want to switch out, not wanting to take an Overheat. But he actually just stays in surprisingly, and I'm just going to Volt Switch into goodness knows what now, because this thing can literally do anything now. What I decide to do now is go back into Nihilego. I was certain he wouldn't want to go for Flash Cannon on a Rotom-H, honestly. So I was like, okay, I'll just switch this thing in. He does reveal Aura Sphere here, so I was like, okay, that's fine. But what I'm gonna do now is just switch back into Rotom-H just to see if I can now go for the Overheat again. But what he's gonna do now is actually go for Volt Switch. So I was like, oh, so this thing actually carries Volt Switch, huh? So he's actually going to get now some kind of switch advantage because he pivots on my Rotom-H, and he's going to go into Mimikyu, which is like, okay, this is perfectly fine because what I'm going to do here is just go for the Volt Switch myself just to break the Disguise and then get a better matchup accordingly. But he's actually going to surprise me right out of the gate and just go for a I think this is Ghostium Z, the never-ending nightmare, which is actually kind of crazy. I kind of forgot that some of these Mimikyus actually carry this Z move. It's because there are some that carry Life Orb, others that carry Focus Sash, others carry Lumberry. I think Mimikyu carries quite a bunch of different sets, so I wasn't expecting the Ghostium Z from him, honestly. But yeah, like I said, I stuck by my play and decided to still go for the Volt Switch, obviously. Like I said, I needed this Disguise to break down because otherwise this Mimikyu would be a broken piece of shoe leather, which is not what I wanted. So I go into Tenebrous here, and I was thinking I could just Iron It this thing, right? But then I was like, oh, wait a minute. This thing is slower than Mimikyu. I remember that Mimikyu had quite a high speed stat. I think it was like 96 base speed that it has, which is crazy actually. So I go into Swampert here, and I kind of misplay a little bit here because look, he's gonna go for Swords Dance, and I choose to go for Scald instead of Earthquake. The reason why was because I was afraid of the Swords Dance and I kind of wanted to get the burn on this thing, but I did not get the burn, which is unfortunate. And then here's where I decide to go for the Earthquake, and as he goes for Play Rough. And unfortunately the damage it doesn't put me at my Yappa Berry range basically. So here unfortunately I go for Earthquake, and it also does not take out the Mimikyu. So had I gone for Earthquake there twice, I would have been able to take out this Mimikyu before this thing took out my Swampert, which really sucks. Now this actually put me in a huge predicament because here I wasn't sure what this thing would want to do now because it's at +2. So what I wanted to send in now was my Nihilego and hope for goodness sake to take a Shadow Sneak at +2 from a Mimikyu, which is Stab. And thankfully I was able to survive that somehow and just take this thing out with a Hidden Power Ice. Thank goodness I did not lose Nihilego here because I think that might have just been the whole game right there, honestly. I would have gotten Mimikyu swept right there, but it wasn't. So now he's gonna send in Cindy, which is this Dugtrio, which does have Arena Trap. And I do go for Hidden Power Ice. This is the reason why I locked myself in the Hidden Power Ice bus, because I kind of had a feeling he would want to bring this thing in if I didn't. I didn't think he would try to bring it after I went for Hidden Power, but he actually does, and I do knock it down to its Focus Sash. And now he's just going to take out my Nihilego with an Earthquake, which is fine because now I get a switch advantage. And I have a very, very good one right now in Decidueye, who, even though these Dugtrios have Sucker Punch, I'm pretty confident my Decidueye can take at least one of them, and then just take this thing out with a U-turn, because that's exactly what I'm going for, on the off chance he decides to switch out, like he does right here, into Magearna. So I'm just going to go for the U-turn, and switch into probably Rotom-H. Yeah, Rotom-H. And I believe here, I think I try to go for a Toxic, yeah. My Rotom-H is quite weakened, that goes without saying, but what I'm going to try to do here nonetheless is actually try to go for the Toxic, because I kind of was afraid he'd try to switch the 1 HP Dugtrio back in, but he didn't. He just stayed in and went for Aros here, so I was like, oh great, now he has me completely weakened. So, to an extent, that was kind of a misplay. It was a misprediction on my part more than anything. But here I'm just going to go for the Pain Split, risking the possible switch back into Dugtrio, which he once again does not do. And instead lets his Magearna take almost half damage from that. And then here, this thing is just going to go for another Aros here, which I'm perfectly fine with. And now here, once again, I'm just going to risk it for the Biscuit and go for Overheat, even though he could easily switch in Chansey if he wanted to, honestly. But as you can see, he's just going to stay in and take the Overheat as well. So I was like, okay, that's fine. As long as this Magearna is gone, because I think this Magearna was like an AV set or something. So taking this thing out is actually wonderful. Now here, I think he's now going to send in, what's it called? I don't remember if it was Chansey or if it was the Tapu Fini. He's going to go into Billy, which, yeah, it's the Tapu Fini. And I think here I decided to go for Volt Switch, because I'm at -2, and I figured there's no reason to keep Rotom here. I was going to see if I can outspeed this thing, and I do. So it's probably a defensive Tapu Fini. I go for Volt Switch. Does quite an amount actually for it being at -2 and not invested in any special attack actually. So that's actually really good actually. So here I'm going to go into Goldeneye, take a Surf, which is what I was kind of anticipating. It was either that or Moonblast honestly. But he just goes for Surf, and what I'm going to do here I think is try to go for another U-turn honestly. Yeah, I think I'd try to go for another U-turn here. Because what I wanted to do was scare him out into thinking that I'm going to just try to go for the Leaf Blade on this thing to do a lot of damage. So yeah, he's going to switch out, and I think he is going to go into Rebecca, which is the Chansey. And I am going to anticipate the switch and go for the U-turn, which is really good for me because now I get the switch advantage. And I think here's where I decide to send in Tenebricide once again, because what I wanted to do was just knock off this Eviolite from Chansey, so that taking it out would be a lot more easier. But he's actually going to see that, he's definitely going to see that coming, and he's just going to switch it out and go back into Tapu Fini to take the knockoff, which is also just as good for me because now it doesn't get any passive recovery with those leftovers. So now I just have to switch back into Decidueye and probably scare it away to switch out again. So that's exactly what I'm going to do right here. I'm going to send in Decidueye, and I think I'm going to try to go for the Leaf Blade this time. He goes for Nature's Madness, which is whatever to me honestly. Because, I mean, if he doesn't have Moonblast, then that's even better, honestly. So, I'm going to just go for the Leaf Blade right here, because I don't think he wants to switch out, honestly. Because I already got the U-turn off last time. So here, instead of going for Moonblast, he does go for Nature's Madness. So, probably he doesn't even have Nature's Moonblast, honestly. So, this allows me to just take this Tapu Fini out with a crit Leaf Blade, by the way. Which is kind of crazy. It might have mattered because who knows, he might have been able to survive the Leaf Blade, but honestly, I was gonna stay in, and if he tries to switch out, I was just gonna U-turn on him, honestly. So to an extent, it doesn't really matter that much, honestly. Like anything would have been able to finish it off later anyways. Now here he's gonna go into Flacco, which is this Charizard, which could possibly be X or Y, and it does turn out to be Charizard Y. Now here I decided to stay in and just sack Decidueye. I went for a U-turn on the off chance he decides to do something else, like he does right here, after he gets this drought out, of course. He's actually going to mispredict here and actually go for the Earthquake, thinking I'd switch out. Honestly, I didn't really see any reason to switch out, honestly. Maybe he was anticipating my Diancie to come out, but honestly, I anticipate Solar Beams from these Charizards if they were to go for it. That's why I stayed in with Decidueye, because I didn't want him to think I'd try to preserve my Decidueye and go into something else and then go for a Solar Beam. So yeah, now I get a free pivot into Diancie here, and he's definitely going to switch out and go back into Rebecca, which is the Chansey. And I'm going to Mega Evolve and go straight for the Diamond Storm, because yeah, what I wanted to do is just get as much damage as possible. Now here, I actually commit something very risky. After Mega Evolving with Diancie, I'm gonna go straight for the Diamond Storm, which was the safe plate on the Charizard Y. And looking at the damage it did right here, which is surprisingly a lot for it still having its Eviolite, honestly. I get +2 defense, and I was like, okay, let's go for another Diamond Storm then. And then here, looking at the damage, I was like, okay, if he chooses to not go for the Soft Boil, I can just take this thing out here. And he does, in fact, go for the Seismic Toss as opposed to the Soft Boil. Because I was going to switch out if he actually decides to Soft Boil, but he actually stayed in and went for Seismic Toss. So I was like, holy cranberries. Had he actually gone for Soft Boil, I would have been in a much bigger predicament. Because right now I'm at +4 with defenses. And this Doug Trio was still here, which, had I not gotten that +4 with the Diamond Storm, I would not have been able to take this Earthquake. Because yeah, this Doug Trio does outspeed my Diancie, because Diancie has a less speed than Doug Trio, who has like a base speed of 120, which is crazy actually. And Mega Diancie only has 110. But yeah, I do survive the Earthquake, and as a result, I am able to take out this Doug Trio with a Moonblast, which is excellent. And now here, he's just going to send his last Pokemon, which is the Charizard Y. And I'm going to finish this thing off with a Diamond Storm, hoping I don't miss it, obviously, because I have missed with Diamond Storm, trust me. And it's actually really annoying when it does. But yeah, I am able to hit it here, though, and I am able to now just take out this Charizard Y. And that's going to be the whole game, and as you guys saw, this was a nice Mega Diancie sweep. I have not gotten one of these in a long time, actually, because Mega Diancie wasn't around when I was doing Sun and Moon. Like, as soon as Mega Diancie came out, I just wanted to try it out as much as I could here, and it actually has been doing me wonders. As you can see as you guys saw in the last battles that I've had with Mega Diancie, it put in quite an amount of work. Even if it was a little bit, it just did so much. Like, what little it did, it benefited me greatly, basically. That was basically how it was. But yeah, that's gonna be the whole game, and good game to Gohan once again. And thank you all for watching, and I'm gonna catch you guys in the next battle. So yeah, later.